This will be a multi-part series on Eclipse. This video will cover waves 1 through 39. Primary goal of this guide is to get players to clear up to wave 40. This is where most in-game players want to get if they want a steady supply of ether. We'll start with team recommendations. While there may be different teams that can succeed, I'll mostly be focusing on heroes that play to the optimal strategy. Sustainable AoE damage to defeat enemies, limiting the time for enemies to retaliate, and sufficient single target damage to defeat the bosses. We'll start with supports and your tank. Frey, Reinhardt, and Glenwys will be the core three. These are the heroes you should focus on getting as they provide the biggest benefit to clearing up to wave 39, and Reinhardt and Glenwys will be key to going beyond wave 40. Frey is a starting hero who everyone has access to and really shines in the early part of Eclipse. Her shield will act as your main line of defense once the heal reduction nullifies your recovery. Her UT2 strengthens her shield by a good margin, so it is highly recommended you start with this unique treasure. Also highly recommend you take the S2 light ability for the increased shield power, as it is your last line of defense once you are no longer able to heal your party. Also pick up any attack and T5 dark perk in order to increase Frey's own attack for a stronger shield, and generally to increase the attack power of the rest of your party. For primary lines, focus on attack, with secondary lines in defense, MP attack, or MP second. For artifacts, I highly recommend the Pocket Watch, as it will lower the shield cooldown to enable you to have higher uptime on the shield. Reinhardt is a very powerful support for Eclipse. Her abilities are very much tailor-made for the Eclipse raid. With a combination of S4 Dark and her UT4, she can provide a substantial increase both to crit damage and damage to bosses. It is highly recommended that you do use those combination of abilities. Additionally, with the combination of S3 Dark and T5 Dark, she gives even more buffs to the whole party, increasing the attack power drastically, as well as a modest increase to defense. For primary lines, we recommend defense and MP second. Secondary lines would be attack speed, just so she can get her abilities off just a little bit quicker. This is a long battle, so for artifacts, in her case, I actually recommend putting the Abyssal Crown on her, as she doesn't need anything specific, and the attack boost will be needed to increase the damage of your primary damage dealer. Glenwys is a knight that specializes in short fights, since she provides substantial damage increases in the short term, and since we are trying to defeat enemies in a very short period of time, these buffs will be extremely valuable in this raid. With a combination of S4 Light and T5 Dark, she increases both attack and damage to non-hero enemies. By using her UT4, you further increase the non-hero damage and provide a crit damage boost to your main DPS. For primary lines, we recommend block and defense, and secondary, we recommend MP attack, attack speed, and if you have some spare lines, you can give a little bit of dodge. The MP attack and attack speed will be needed, as Glenwys does have notoriously high MP costing abilities. For artifacts, we recommend the Ring of Spirit Morph. This will be needed to prevent Glenwys from dying once you are no longer able to heal her, but as long as you can kill the enemies before the effective Ring of Spirit Morph wears off, she is at no threat of being defeated. And lastly, I do want to cover some alternative heroes just in case you don't have the recommended ones I listed earlier. So, Lavril is a great support, fits well in replace for Reinhardt, provides strong C damage and attack buffs to your main DPS, and can also protect the main DPS from reaching 0 HP with one of her perks. Jane's an alternative tank, who can provide amps quickly and shred with her UT3. Her low cooldown S1 helps to cluster and stun enemies, and her S4 is a final safety net, just in case something goes wrong. Philip is an alternative tank for physical teams. He's extremely tanky with his unique weapon stacks. He applies amp with just his auto attack with his S4, and attack down with UT4. And Lucius, his unique weapon provides a modest non-hero damage increase as well as attack speed. His S1 and S2 can be perked to provide mana to your party. Just make sure you take his S4 Dark, otherwise he'll keep losing HP. Now for our main damage dealer. I want to stress that the DPS can be anyone, but based on my personal experience and from videos I've watched, the following 3 DPS are the most effective or require the least investment: Esker, Artemia, and Ophelia. These heroes offer the needed AoE damage to take out the waves of enemies we face, and they can also dish out enough damage to defeat the bosses every 5 floors. The Queen of Light proves to shine through in Eclipse, able to dispatch waves of enemies quickly with either S1 and triggering an S4 chain reaction, or by one-tapping with S3 and getting resets on kill. Her S4 also provides her ample non-hero damage bonus. The Pathfinder of Fate, Ophelia. S3 when repeatedly cast has no cooldown, allowing her to deal a steady stream of AoE damage around her target. So long as you can cluster enemies, she'll kill them quickly. For bosses, using her S1 twice deals high defense ignoring damage and provides decent CC, allowing you to knock down bosses as needed. Esker lives up to his potential in Eclipse. So long as you can stack up his S3, it will deal significant damage on a low cooldown. The hard part will be getting fully ramped quickly, but if you use S3 Dark and land killing blows, you'll be able to reset its cooldown, allowing you to stack fully. His S1 is also an extremely powerful boss killer, dealing significant defense ignoring damage. His S2 buff also further increases his own attack and crit damage, as well as providing additional attack and crit damage to the party, which does strengthen Frey's shield. For your damage dealer gear, I strongly recommend MP Second, as you won't have much time to auto attack for mana. MP Sec will work for the 1.5 seconds you need to run up to the enemies, and will continue during your skill animations. Do not neglect penetration. Bosses have very high defense, so if you want to deal enough damage to defeat them quickly, you will need a good amount of penetration. And last, stack as much attack as you can get. You're gonna need it. You will also get plenty of crit damage boost from your support, so you will not need very many lines for crit damage. I will not be going over alternative DPS in this video. That will be done in a future video. Now, as far as fights, enemies will auto-attack a random number of times at the start of any fight. It usually gives you about a 4 to 5 second window before they use any skills. The quicker you can take them out, the less likely they are to use their skills. 2 bosses require some special considerations. Child of Hellfire can summon adds if not defeated quickly. These adds are further back out of reach of Ophelia's S3 and Artemia's S1, so do try to take out this boss quicker. The other boss to consider is the Bloodbringer Demon Catalopes. He has an HP trigger when he's reduced to low life. During this HP trigger, he's immune to all damage and will follow up with a high damage combo to your tank. Save a high damage skill to finish him off after the stagger animation plays out. Now, ideally, most enemy waves should be defeated very quickly and will have very little chance to retaliate or attack you. I do want to make a couple exceptions though, as there are some enemies that can prove to be dangerous still. The Scorpions, which you will find on waves 18, 19, 38, and 39, do have a poison projectile attack that can target a DPS. It can be cleansed, but it does also wear off if you clear the wave, so do try to just take them out as quickly as you can before they can apply that poison. Frey's shield covering will give you some time before the poison breaks through the shield, and it will. The poison deals pretty significant damage. Lich is extremely high attack and defense, and his wave cannon attack can wipe out your party. You will find him on wave 22 by himself, and then wave 24 he will be paired with some worms. So make sure to take out the worms and that Lich quickly before he has a chance to attack you. Speaking of worms, they burrow and can attack your backline, so And they can also be immune to damage when they're burrowing, so try to time your attack. Pay attention that as soon as the fight starts, they will burrow immediately, so pause for a moment before you attack them. You will see them on waves 21, 22, and 24. The other enemy that can be threatening, depending on your comp, will be the Wasp. The Wasp are seen on waves 16, 17, 38, and 37. Or sorry, 36 and 37. The Wasp, they stun on hit, and they can stun lock your tank or any melee DPS. So make sure you have either CC immunity or you're using a ranged DPS to take them out. This completes part 1 of my Eclipse guide. Hope this helps, and if you have questions, please post in the comments. I'll be working on additional videos for Eclipse shortly. Subjects will include death protection strategy, alternative DPS, and surpassing wave 40. Hope to see you soon.